I've just seen a video where somebody speaks about on how to go about learning words, and there's a lot of talk about theory, but at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to me that this video gives really helpful, practical information. Okay, dispels some vague ideas about learning words, but practically I don't see it very down to the brass tacks. I mean, a nitty-gritty video on real learning new words. First of all, the first thing I would say is that when you learn new words, you should learn the real meaning of the word. Sometimes we bumped into a new word in a context, and we think that that word that we maybe looked up in a dictionary and find the right meaning for that context. Okay, this is the meaning of the word. So first of all, do we want to know the specific meaning and learn only the meaning of this word, only this meaning of the word, or do we want to know the real all-around meaning of the word? Okay. Secondly, do we know how to use the word? Is it countable, uncountable? If it's a noun, what is the right pronunciation? What is the right pronunciation in British English or in American English? Does it have different meanings in British and American English? Is it more common in English rather than American? Okay, if it's a verb, is it transitive, intransitive, or what preposition do we need to use it? Does it have several forms with different prepositions? Okay, do we want to learn all of them or not? Are there too many phrasal verbs with this verb? Okay, this is one thing. Secondly, so to really learn the word and to be able to pronounce and to understand it and to use it in the proper way. Secondly, which words do we want to learn? This is very important. If your level is like almost native speaker, you would like to know almost every word, unless it's very, very technical. But the secret is to learn the words you need for your level. A good way to go about it is to buy a book, a dictionary, which is around your level. Not too many words, not few words, the right amount of words. You can also have some dictionary for learners. I'll show you. Okay. Sorry. Okay, the good thing about this dictionary is that there aren't many words. Okay. Upper intermediate. This is even less. They are very well explained, and they're a CD with the pronunciation, in spite of the fact that you should be able to read the bloody phonetical alphabet. This kind of symbols you see. Okay, so buy different dictionaries. One to look words up when you don't know them, and the others to see whether they are very common or uncommon. Remember that sometimes you can make exceptions because maybe this is your field. You want to know more words about in a specific field. You are much into that field. Okay, so we saw how to use a word, and what words you should learn. Should we look actually search for the words, or just run into them, and when we come across these words we take a note of them, and we try to internalize. I say internalize, not memorize or to learn, but internalize. Okay, you can do both. If you're in a hurry to learn new words, okay, you can even, that's an exception, write them in your own language and look them up in a dictionary, because you need these words pretty soon. But the best way to learn languages, the way I see it, is to mimic, see, internalize what you hear, what you read, mainly what you hear. That's a good way, because they are always in a context. You know the structure where they use, and sometimes you know also how to use them, because you see them in natural usage, and that's a better thing to do. When you read books, try to read books that are good for you. Try to assess your level, and try to find out how many words you are supposed to know that level, and find dictionaries that have this amount of words, more or less, and buy readers, a book specifically conceived for learners. They have different stages, so once you have found out your stage, buy books, readers that have a CD, and underline is Italian, underline all the words you don't know, maybe one color, words that you know but you would like to internalize, to know better. Because one thing is to know a word, to be able to understand, to infer the meaning of the word, to deduce the meaning of the word, or you know it when you understand when you hear it. Maybe you have to a little bit to think about it. It's not immediate, so you can understand the word when you read, but not necessarily when people speak in the flux of the speech. You can also underline this word if you don't mind ruining your books. You can take notes beside, near the book. You can write notes, or you can buy an exercise book and you write all the notes. Or having on the book is more handy, because every time you read the book you have your notes beside. Remember, when you take notes, I know that maybe in the book there's no room to take long notes, so try to, if you don't have a lot of space, take a dictionary, get a dictionary that hasn't many words, so you find the the meaning, the core meaning of the word. Remember to learn the core meaning, okay? And from the core meaning, try to understand what is. You can understand why it has also the other meaning. If I get the core meaning of rough, which is something like this to the touch, this is not rough. Something rough. If I touch this, you know, it's rough under your fingers. It's not smooth. You can understand that it can have other. Can use figuratively a rough day, rough sea, you know, rough. Not smooth, sometimes not pleasant. The core meaning of rough is something that is not smooth, physically and figuratively. Okay, having said that, this is what to learn, okay, to learn properly, and how to have what to learn and how to learn and what to learn about the word, okay? So the core meaning, the right pronunciation, and some grammar features. If it's a noun, it's countable, uncountable. If it's a verb, mainly transitive, intransitive, and what preposition. Or if it's something like a noun or an adjective, distinguish if it is a noun or an adjective, because if it is a noun, you need it is an idiot, or he is, sorry, it is, doesn't make sense, he's an idiot, or he's stupid, because being an adjective you mustn't put a. So also memorize if it's an adjective or a noun. I know it's not immediate, and it's not something you wouldn't think if you are a native speaker of Italian or other languages like French, Greek, Spanish, Portuguese. But in English it's important to know this. It's something many people don't pay attention to. Another thing is, okay, how can I memorize the word? Okay, there are many approaches, and mainly the learning acquisition shouldn't be boring. So repeating 20 times, it can be useful just to internalize the pronunciation. Okay, this is very important. It can be useful. Associate, animal. This is a good exercise also to practice your ability to articulate sounds. Okay, this is a thing you can do, but doesn't really help you to memorize the word. Helps you pronouncing the word correctly, but to internalize the word, the meaning and how to use it, it takes more than that. Okay, you can use a notebook and write all the words you would like to learn, and reviewing the words with longer and longer intervals. At longer intervals, it would be the way. It is the way to go. So you write down the word, the pronunciation, the meanings you want to, let's say, memorize, and you can also divide the meanings, the main meanings, and the major and the minor meanings of the words, the core meaning of the word, and then you write down the day. You review this after 3 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. You calculate, it takes more than 1 year and a half to have all these reviews of the word, but it will enter the long-term memory. There is another side effect. Once you've noticed a word and you have access to the language, I mean, you're exposed to the language on a daily basis, maybe you recognize the word. The word you didn't know before, you will notice that you will hear it all over and over again, just because now you know the word and it doesn't go unnoticed as it used to go before. That's something that works on our behalf. Another thing is that, okay, you can, if you really want to work on these words, you can even come up with your own exercises. You write sentences where this word fit, or where this word fits, and put them aside, and try to see if you remember the words that is suitable in that context. You can also make it a little bit easier writing many sentences, and then you have to choose which words fit, and you have to pick up one word for every sentence, or some words for long sentences. It's a creative approach. You make your personal exercises to memorize the word. Remember not to write on the, don't really write fill in the gaps, but you can write, you can use a pencil and then erase what you've written, so you can do your exercise all over again. I think these are very good practical tips. Maybe I will come up with some other tips more specific concerning verbs, nouns, and structures, rather than specifically vocabulary. But sometimes a structure, I used to go, I'm used to doing, is something you have also to internalize and to use immediately. Another thing is the other approach I have about grammar. When you practice grammar and structures, try to use words you know, and try to not to use the same words. So you always retrieve your words from your subconscious, and it's a good exercise because you do grammar, always pronunciation, because every time you speak English, every time there's pronunciation. Even if you read, not aloud, you read to yourself, inside you, in your mind you pronounce. It's impossible not to have the audio part of the language. Whatever use you make of the language, you will always have to deal with sounds. Okay? That's it. Goodbye.